Good afternoon, folks. Zach Cross here. I hope you're doing well. So, the other day I put out a video about Sutter Fire, and I was trying to politically agitate both the supervisors' kiss asses and the farmers to kind of rethink things. You know, I am 100% for the farmers of this county over here in Yuba and the rest of the North State. I've shown this time and time again. And my main concern, now that you guys are paying attention and I can afford to be a little bit more, a little bit less hostile now that I'm living in a lot of people's heads and you guys are talking about this topic. I don't like how I have to do this, kind of shenanigans as some might call it, but to get a lot of you to pay attention, basically that's what it takes. And it also has a secondary benefit when I do such things, as pretty much people come forward, whether they're the ass kissers of the oligarchy or whatever, and they kind of let me know where it is they're going and ending up and how they're going to play their next moves. So anyway, I'm hoping the farmers now, at least I've heard from a few people, their fellow farmers over here, I've asked to reach out to them, explain that the supervisor's arrogance and poor choice of optics of giving themselves a raise while asking for another tax increase, possibly in conjunction with Yuba City or maybe by themselves again here in 2024. They gave themselves raises, they wasted a bunch of money while fire departments were still left unfunded. I believe this was a tactic probably given to them by people who normally run their campaigns as a valid option to get it to pass, basically. I hear there are some concerns, though, on the farmer side that they might be paying more than $2,200 a year in some cases. And I can tell you by the ladies putting this on and the support in the community, the people, including the ladies and the people who live in that Sutter Fire District, all they want to do is fund that fire department. And if there's something unfair, like say instead of about $2,200, which farmers pay out here in Hallwood Fire and other ones a similar fee yearly with no problem, if it is more than that, I'm sure the ladies would negotiate and be willing to work with you farmers to get something a little bit more fair. Nobody wants to put the burdens on somebody else. They just want people to pay their fair share, who use the services and maybe haven't been paying too much. You have to admit, paying $250 a year for 25 years was quite a good deal for you guys. And you guys have groundwater substitution program over there. You have many benefits in the North State that only a few communities have in the entire state. I think it's it's been about 8 years since I worked on water over here and stopping that no pumping initiative. But I think there's like 8 or 10 counties total in California that can participate in groundwater substitution. I don't know if you guys can talk amongst yourselves and figure out a way to divvy that up towards fire. But what I do know, when trying to come up with a solution outside of godforsaken cannabis as a taxable commodity forward, I think the idea of maybe getting Butte County and Tehama County and others that lost their ability to do groundwater substitution have a groundwater recharging component, and ask the voters to allow for the groundwater substitution again, divvying up, say, 35% of those total funds whenever able to sell, which would then have to be saved by the fire districts, to go funding those fire districts. I can't believe that the supervisors of Sutter County would put those people out there in such harm as to not only get rid of their fire department, but also their ability to buy insurance, as the nearest 24-hour manned fire department will be 6 miles away in Yuba City. We probably would have done anything we could if we had a manned fire station instead of a bunch of volunteers, which we are grateful for in the foothills and the mountains of Yuba County and Butte County. Sadly, that wasn't really an option. But if Sutter has it, and they basically, like the benefits of having that, along with getting affordable homeowners insurance for fire, and the ability to get it at all, you guys should really work together. Anytime that the Board of Supervisors or any other government entity try to pit the regular citizens against the farmers or commerce or industry, I can tell you in my experience, nobody wins. It's like when the mafia goes to war, everybody loses, right? You've seen that on a ton of movies, right? It's true for also the people providing jobs and taking place in industry and commerce when they go against the citizens, and they're being driven to go against the citizens basically as their government basically finds it an easier way to make that happen and get what they want. Please work together with the ladies and the rest of us and support us in trying to save Sutter Fire Department. I know most of you farmers are good people. You know, I believe that the groundwater recharging and substitution, therefore, you know, that we're recharging your aquifer along with ours here in Yuba County. I believe that whether you're Yuba County farmers with that ability, Sutter County, or anybody else, as somebody who understands, you know, that Mother Nature can take you out at any time, I believe that that's a good part of the balance to keep you guys farming and keep Bill Gates out of our freezers basically and fridges with his lab-grown God knows what greed meat and produce, etc. So I'm going to be working on this Save Sutter Fire. Please, to those of you listening who are farmers, work with the ladies. It's really the citizens and commerce and farmers and industry against the government. You know, none of you are at the level of finance where you can buy your way out of things like the 8 families of California or, you know, Bill Gates or whatever. So it's really us against them, you know, as far as this government oppression and waste and everything else, debauchery and government mixed together. And I hope you guys will remember that. And I know that if you farmers come out and save that fire department with the rest of us, you're going to have a lot of very loyal citizens around you that when they need you to come to bat, you're probably more likely to get their help. I know I will be more inclined to help you and go after your enemies without being asked if they come after you if you were to do this. And I hope you'll reach out to Tehama and Butte County and kind of put my idea forward with me as I do limited politicking in those areas, especially Tehama and some of these other counties that lost their ability to do groundwater substitution. You know, you guys should definitely have that, especially when there's a groundwater recharging, you know, program in place. And I don't want you guys to lose that, but that was almost lost over here when we had a similar arrogant and ignorant and self-serving board of supervisors 8 years ago. And that is a mess to fight because, you know, people kind of look at that in a negative way. And I don't know what else could happen. I know that dealing with Liz Cervantes, myself, and others, though, is probably the way forward to make it where there's limited collateral damage on all sides. Thank you guys. God bless. I hope you'll come over here and support the local Peach Festival. Have a good day.